NBA Ben 10 is laid up in a hospital bed, neck brace on, full of bullet holes, and the man who put him there just got knocked by the feds on his way to a Vlad TV interview. Allstar Jr. Jeremy Christopher Ford was arrested in California. A criminal complaint already filed saying he was a felon in possession of a firearm, and the feds dropped surveillance footage showing him standing over Ben 10 at Confessions restaurant in Houston on April 8th, pointing, shooting. And Ben 10 got on Instagram, neck brace and all, and said Allstar Jr. is peddling fake narratives. Y'all need to sit with that for a second. The man shot you. The feds got the photo. And you, the victims, are on IG telling the world the story being told about what happened to you is a lie. That's the angle nobody is talking about because everybody wants to frame this like Allstar Jr. ran up, did his thing, and now he's paying the price. And yeah, legally, he's paying the price. But Ben 10 is not out here handing this man his flowers. Not a single petal, no credit, no acknowledgement, nothing. Ben 10 went on Instagram and basically said, "Somebody come pay me for my story, because this man is selling dreams." Let me break it down for y'all because this situation is way deeper than a shooting. This is about narrative control, street politics, who gets to tell the story, and why Ben 10 refusing to give Allstar Jr. credit might be the coldest move in this whole situation.
Stay locked in.
We going all the way through this. No cap. To understand how we got here, we got to go back and establish the players because if you're not deep in the culture, some of this might fly over your head. NBA Ben 10, real name not widely publicized, is one of NBA YoungBoy's closest affiliates, not just some peripheral homie, fam. We're talking day one energy. Ben 10 moves in the same circles as one of the most loyal and protective fan bases in hip-hop. When you're affiliated with YoungBoy's camp, that comes with a whole ecosystem. A whole set of people who ride for you, a whole set of people who are watching how you move, and a whole set of enemies who think that affiliation makes you a target. That last part matters a lot here. J. Prince Jr., son of J. Prince, the legendary CEO and co-founder of Rap Hot Records, is also in this picture. J. Prince Sr. built one of the most legendary street credible empires in the history of hip-hop. His name alone carries the kind of weight that makes people move different. J. Prince Jr. is trying to build his own lane, has his own imprint called Mob Ties, and was reportedly present at Confessions restaurant in Houston on the night of April 8th when everything went left. Now, Allstar Jr. Jeremy Christopher Ford, 32 years old out of Detroit. He came up tight with T Grizzly, which gave him his initial lane. Detroit rappers carry a certain reputation in the streets. Hardened, aggressive, unapologetic. Allstar Jr. has always played into that energy. He ain't been a household name on the mainstream level, but in the culture, especially in those street-adjacent circles, people know who he is. He is not a rookie. He is not some random. He's a grown man who has been in this industry long enough to know exactly what he was doing at every step of the situation. And that's what makes this whole thing so layered, gang, because this wasn't a random incident. This was a collision between three different worlds. The NBA YoungBoy universe, the J. Prince legacy, and the Detroit scene, all converging at a restaurant called Confessions in Houston, Texas. The name of that restaurant alone is doing too much work right now. April 8th, 2026. Confessions Restaurant, Houston, Texas. The exact details of what kicked off the altercation are still being pieced together by the internet and investigators alike. But here's what we know based on reports and the accounts that have surfaced since. There was a confrontation tied to an alleged jewelry robbery. According to what circulated, two men attempted to take someone's chains that triggered a physical altercation. A fight broke out in or around the restaurant, and then gunshots. NBA Ben 10 was shot. Dead and Ron was also shot. Both men were hospitalized in critical condition. Lieutenant R. Wilkins from the Houston PD confirmed the investigation was underway almost immediately and specifically noted that surveillance footage from the scene would likely be what cracked this case open. A 3200 Kirby Drive at the Confessions nightclub just behind me upstairs. It's a bar/rest type location. Tonight, there was probably, 20-30 people in there, and several servers and everything. Got some pretty good video. And we got two victims on the scene right now. This is a shooting. We got two victims. Let's see. One's been shot multiple times in the torso, probably in his late 20s. Another one's been shot in the extremities and the lower extremities, and also all throughout his arms and everything several times. He's probably in his mid-20s. They're both transported to local hospitals right now, and they're both in very critical condition. So, my name is Lieutenant R. Wilkins. Willkn. Altercation originally, and it appears from what they were doing was trying to take his chains. Now, we don't know if they knew him or what that was, but it appears possibly they knew this guy and they were in the process of trying to rip his chains off. That went on for 30 seconds to a minute where these two guys were tussling with him. Actually got him to the ground and appears probably got his chains from him. He was right. Now, here's where it gets crazy. And this is a detail I need y'all to really digest. Allstar Jr.'s version of events, the story he's been pushing across social media, is that he was the one who got jumped. He's been saying Ben 10 and his crew were the aggressors, that he was the victim of an assault, and he simply defended himself. That framing is critical because it's the entire foundation of everything he did after the shooting. Think about it strategically. If you paint yourself as the victim who fought back, then your taunts, your Instagram posts, your challenge videos, all of that can be framed as the confidence of a man who survived and won. You're not the shooter. You're the survivor who clapped back. That's the narrative Allstar Jr. constructed. But Ben 10 blew that whole thing up when he got on Instagram and wrote, and I want y'all to hear this clearly. Somebody please come pay me for interview cause dude's selling them fake acts, dreams, and nightmare story. Fake story. The man who was actually shot is sitting in the hospital with a neck brace on, telling the world that the narrative Allstar Jr. built is a lie. Not embellished, not partially true. Fake. That's a heavy statement, fam. Because Ben 10 didn't say his version is different from mine. He said the man is selling fake dreams and nightmares. That's calling someone a fraudulent storyteller about a real incident that put you in a hospital bed. That's a very specific type of heat. Now, let's talk about what Allstar Jr. did after the shooting, because this is where the story gets truly wild and, honestly, where his downfall started building in real time. The ink on the police report wasn't even dry before Allstar Jr. was on Instagram flexing. He posted photos of himself at a jewelry store. I want y'all to picture this. The man went shopping for new ice immediately after this incident and captioned it, "Had to shoot to the D and get new ice cause my man's Ben 10 took some of my stuff to the hospital with him." Read that again slowly. He's saying Ben 10 took his jewelry, allegedly was involved in trying to rob him, and went to the hospital still holding some of his stuff, and JR replaced it. That's the message. That's what he put on Instagram for the world to see. Then in the same carousel, he wrote, "Thought he was mob ties till I shot his ass a few times, gang." He put it in writing on Instagram himself. The feds don't even need an informant at this point. The man was his own informant with hashtags. But it didn't stop there. He then announces the Ben 10 challenge, offered $20,000 to whoever filmed themselves doing the best impression of Ben 10 laying on the ground as if they'd been shot. And he promoted it on No Jumper for extra reach, $20,000 to mock a man recovering in a hospital from gunshot wounds. He also dropped a diss track, Mob Untied, aimed directly at J. Prince Jr. and Ben 10. He targeted J. Prince Jr., specifically calling him out for allegedly running from the scene at J. Prince Jr. Dam. "Are you still running up Kirby?" He posted telling the whole world that this man, the son of one of the most powerful figures in Houston rap, allegedly fled. And the music video for Expensive Wristwatch, which he was pushing simultaneously, opened with a narration referencing Houston robbery statistics. He was turning this whole real-life situation into a promotional rollout. The shooting, the hospital, the beef, it all became content. Album rollout energy. Here's the real tea, though, and this is the part that matters when we talk about why Ben 10 won't give him credit. Allstar Jr. was not just taunting. He was constructing a mythology around himself. He wanted the streets to see him as the man who stepped to NBA YoungBoy's affiliate, handled business, walked away clean, bought new chains, and then dropped a diss track and a challenge. He wanted the credit. He wanted his name in people's mouths as the one who did it. But Ben 10 took one look at that mythology and said, "Nah, that ain't the story. You're selling fiction." This is the angle that nobody is giving enough attention to, and it might be the most important part of this whole breakdown. When Allstar Jr. first started posting after the shooting, the jewelry store photos, the captions, the challenge, Ben 10 didn't immediately clap back on social media. He sat with it. He's in the hospital. He's got a neck brace on. He's recovering. And while Allstar Jr. is out here celebrating on Instagram, Ben 10 is quiet. Then when he does break his silence, he doesn't engage Allstar Jr. directly. He puts up an Instagram post that said, "Getting shot. Okay, Ian tripping. We serve two different gods. Must be my father told me my testimony already. Life support has never been up an option." That's not a disc. That's a man anchoring himself in faith and survival. He's not giving Allstar Jr. the back and forth he's fishing for. He's not acknowledging the challenge. He's not saying, "I'm back and I'm coming for you." He's saying, "God told me how this ends and I'm still here." And Allstar Jr. responded to that by extending his challenge and doubling the money, trying to bait Ben into engaging. Well, if the bet's so back, tell him to do the Ben 10, and I'll double it for him. He wanted Ben 10 to react. He wanted that energy. Ben 10 didn't give it to him. Then came the DMs. Allstar Jr. exposed the private messages between him and Ben 10 on Instagram on April 20th. And this is where we see what Ben 10 was actually on in private. According to those leaked messages, Ben 10 was trying to reach out. JR's response was to dismiss any private communication and keep redirecting to the challenge. I ain't trying to talk.
Send me that challenge.
JR wrote. Ben 10 pushed back in the DMs, disputing how many bullets he actually took. Allstar Jr. kept mocking him. Says the knee die in the hospital full of bullets. Ben 10 countered. You pick up. I ain't full of no bullets. So even in private, Ben 10 is arguing against Allstar Jr.'s narrative. He's not just refusing to give him credit publicly. He's actively disputing the story Onion one. The fake narrative call out wasn't just for the internet. It was consistent even when the cameras weren't rolling. That's when Ben 10 went on Instagram publicly and said, somebody needs to come pay him for his interview because JR is out here selling fake dreams and nightmares. He wants to control his own story. He refuses to let Allstar Jr. be the author of what happened to him. And he definitely refuses to be the trophy in Allstar Jr.'s victory lap. That's cold. That's calculated. And depending on how you look at it, that might be the smartest move he's made in this whole situation. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Because everything we've talked about so far, the shooting, the social media, the beef, it all accelerates with the arrest. Allstar Jr. was reportedly on his way to do an interview with Vlad TV in California when he got taken into custody. Let that marinate. He had just been doing all of this, the posts, the diss tracks, the challenges, the DM leaks, and was headed to sit down with DJ Vlad to presumably talk about all of it on record. Whether by design or coincidence, he never made it through that door as a free man. Now, the internet obviously went crazy with the Vlad TV angle because there's been this running cultural joke. And I want to be clear, it has not been proven. That DJ Vlad's platform operates as a kind of pipeline where rappers end up legally exposed. People have been saying Vlad is the feds for years. There's no verified connection between Vlad TV and law enforcement operations. But the timing here, man getting arrested on the way to that specific interview, let's just say the memes wrote themselves. But let's talk about what the feds actually have, because that's the real story that DJ Academics released a federal surveillance photo from Confessions Restaurant. The photo shows Allstar Jr. Jeremy Christopher Ford standing over NBA Ben 10. The young boy affiliate's face is blurred in the released image, but JR's face is visible in the second frame. And in the first image, he can be seen pointing and allegedly firing a weapon. The feds issued a criminal complaint against Jeremy Christopher Ford, Allstar Jr., charging him with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Now, this is important to note. The complaint specifically ties the firearm possession to on or around April 8th in the Southern District of Texas, which is the date and location of the Ben 10 shooting. They're not necessarily charging him directly with the shooting as of this recording. The felon in possession charge is its own federal offense. But fam, they have a picture of him standing over the man with what appears to be a gun in his hand. All those Instagram posts where he all but confessed, the feds definitely saw those, too. When you're a convicted felon, and you post yourself at a jewelry store with captions about shooting somebody and taking their chains to the hospital, and then the federal government releases surveillance photos of you appearing to do exactly that. You have become your own worst enemy. This is what keeping it 100 online actually cost you in 2026. You cannot clap back on Instagram like it's a video game when the feds have cameras everywhere and you've got prior that makes simply holding a gun a federal charge. Now, let's get into the meat of what this video is really about. Because the title isn't just Allstar Jr. got arrested. The angle here is Ben 10's response and specifically why he is deliberately, consciously, strategically refusing to give Allstar Jr. the credit he's been chasing this whole time. Think about what Allstar Jr. built his entire post-shooting persona on. The whole thing only works if people accept that he did something that he stepped to NBA YoungBoys affiliate in Houston, handled his business, and walked out. That's the mythology. And for that mythology to hold, you need two things. The internet to accept the story, and ideally the victim to at least not deny it. Ben 10 denied it loudly, publicly, directly. Fake acts, dreams, and nightmare story. There's layers to why this is significant. First, if the story Allstar Jr. told is false or exaggerated, then everything JR built on top of it collapses. The challenge, the diss track, the jewelry store photos, all of it was constructed on a narrative. If the narrative is fake, then none of those moves carry the weight he intended them to carry. You can't win a beef on a lie when the other person is still alive to dispute it. Second, by calling the narrative fake, Ben 10 is effectively saying, "You didn't do what you said you did," or "It didn't happen the way you said it happened." That means Allstar Jr.'s entire performance, the taunting, the music, the challenge, was theater. It was clout chasing on top of a crime. And in street politics, performing toughness that isn't real is one of the most disrespected moves you can make. Third, and this is the deep one, by refusing to give Allstar Jr. credit while also not revealing what he says actually happened, Ben 10 leaves the full truth in his pocket. He said on Instagram he wants to be paid for his interview because he's got the real story. That's leverage. He is essentially saying, "I have the counter-narrative and you're going to have to come to me for it." Allstar Jr. wanted to be the author of this story. Ben snatched the pen. And now with JR sitting in federal custody, Ben 10 can take his time. He's got the neck brace on, but he's holding all the cards. The man who was clowning him 2 weeks ago is now in a cage. And the fake narrative he was selling now has federal photo evidence contradicting whatever alternative reality he was building. We can't close this out without addressing Prince Jr. because his presence in this situation adds another whole dimension. Allstar Jr. went hard at Prince Jr. specifically, calling him soft, saying he ran up Kirby after the incident, saying he fled the scene. For anyone who knows the weight that the Prince name carries in Houston, this is an extraordinarily bold move. Prince Sr. didn't build rap-hot records by running from anything. That family's reputation in the Houston streets is not something you want to poke unless you are absolutely sure of your position. Prince Jr. came out and denied the allegations. He put up posts saying he wouldn't harm a child and referenced Allstar Jr. almost affectionately, saying that boy loves him. He encouraged people to tell the truth and wished Ben 10 and the other victim a speedy recovery. Now compare those two responses. Allstar Jr.'s unhinged social media rollout versus Prince Jr.'s measured denial. One man was building clout on a situation. The other man was protecting his name with calm precision. Prince Jr. knows exactly how this game works. His father taught him. You don't need to be loud to be dangerous. And then there's the ecosystem factor. When you're shooting at someone affiliated with NBA YoungBoy, who is one of the most passionate and loyal followings in hip-hop, you're not just beefing with one man. You're beefing with a whole network of affiliates, fans, and figures who move as a unit. Allstar Jr. seemed to embrace that challenge publicly. But the question is, was he really prepared for all of the consequences, the legal ones, the street ones, all of it? The arrest suggests the answer is no. So, where does this leave everything right now, fam? Allstar Jr. Jeremy Christopher Ford is in federal custody. The felon in possession charge alone is serious. Federal gun charges carry mandatory minimum sentences in many cases. And if investigators tie this arrest directly to the April 8th shooting, which the complaint already does geographically and chronologically, the charges could escalate well beyond a gun possession case. He's got photo evidence from the feds placing him at the scene over the victim appearing to fire a weapon. He's got his own Instagram post where he essentially admitted involvement. He's got his own DMs that he leaked himself. He built a whole case against himself on social media. And now the government is using that publicly constructed narrative as a roadmap. All those captions about shooting Ben 10 and taking his chains to the hospital gang, those could be exhibits. Ben 10, meanwhile, is recovering. He's been posting on FaceTime with his neck brace, smiling, signaling he's on the mend. He's still calling the narrative fake. He's still waiting to tell his story on his own terms. And now that Allstar Jr. is arrested, the pressure that was on Ben 10 to respond, to retaliate, to engage, all of that dissipates. The legal system is handling it. He doesn't need to say another word if he doesn't want to. That's a position of power that Allstar Jr. handed him by overplaying his hand. Prince Jr. is still out here. Name intact, reputation defended. Never taken the bait Allstar Jr. threw out there. The Prince family has navigated situations like this before. They'll navigate this one too. The Vlad TV curse conversation isn't going anywhere. Every time an artist gets arrested on their way to, or after doing a Vlad interview, that discourse flares up. Whether there's truth to it or not is a separate conversation. But the cultural perception of that platform just took another hit. And Allstar Jr.'s music, expensive wristwatch, mob untied, all of it has now become evidence of his state of mind during this entire period. In court, your own lyrics and posts can be used against you. He built a whole content strategy around a crime. That's never smart. Not in 2026. Not when cameras are everywhere and servers store everything. Let me zoom out and give y'all the bigger picture, because there's something this entire situation teaches us about how these streets intersect with social media, music, and the law in this era. We are living in a time where artists, especially those who move in or adjacent to street culture, are treating social media like it's an extension of the actual streets. Like what you post carries the same weight as what you do. Like clout and credibility are the same thing. And Allstar Jr. is the latest case study, and why that's a dangerous misunderstanding. In the streets, real street politics, you don't announce what you did. You don't make a challenge. You don't post at the jewelry store with hashtags about what happened. The code has always been simple. If you move in silence. What Allstar Jr. did was perform a street move on a digital stage with a live audience. He turned a real-life incident, one involving real bullets and real hospitals, into a content rollout. He combined a music drop with a criminal act and a taunting campaign like it was all part of the same press strategy. And the feds used that performance as a roadmap straight to his front door. Here's the real tea about why Ben 10 won't give him credit, though. And this is the cultural point that I need y'all to take with you. In the code of the streets, credit is earned through respect, not through performance. Allstar Jr. wanted credit for doing something. But Ben 10's refusal to acknowledge the narrative even while sitting in a hospital bed is its own statement about credibility. A man who genuinely holds weight doesn't need to crowdfund his reputation on Instagram. He doesn't need a challenge. He doesn't need a diss track. He doesn't need to leak DMs. Ben 10 sitting in silence, calling the story fake, waiting to tell his truth on his own time. That's a different kind of power. The quiet kind. The kind that doesn't need a cosign. Allstar Jr. wanted Ben 10 to react. He wanted Young Boys Camp to respond. He wanted J. Prince Jr. to engage. He wanted to be the man that made all those names clap back, and none of them gave him what he was looking for. Not in the way he wanted. Instead, the feds came. And this is the lesson that hip-hop keeps having to relearn every generation. Real ones don't broadcast it. And if you're going to take a risk, a real one, you better not document it yourself and put it on the internet with emoji and a challenge for $20,000. Because the surveillance footage already existed before you posted a single caption. The investigation was already underway before the first diss track dropped. The criminal complaint was already being built while Allstar Jr. was in the jewelry store posing for Instagram. He thought he was building a legend. He was actually building a case. Look, here's where we land on all of this, fam. Allstar Jr. is facing federal charges. The feds have photos. He has his own receipts working against him. His entire post-shooting social media archive is a prosecutor's dream. And he was heading to Vlad TV of all places when they got him. Ben 10 is alive, recovering, and refusing to let this man write his story. He's got a neck brace and a narrative he's protecting. He called the story fake. He wants his interview on his own terms. He's not giving Allstar Jr. a single strand of credit for anything. And that's cold. No cap. Whether Ben 10 is telling the complete truth about the narrative being fake. Only the investigation will reveal that fully. But his refusal to play into Allstar Jr.'s mythology, that's real. Recognize real energy, because the easiest thing in the world would have been to acknowledge what happened. Give the man his props for moving a certain way, and let it be what it is. He didn't do that. He said, "Nah, the whole story you're selling is fake. Come pay me for the real one." J. Prince Jr. walked through this situation with his name intact. Allstar Jr. built a whole empire of content on top of a crime and got arrested before he could even cash out the Vlad TV interview. And Ben 10 is laying in a hospital bed holding all the cards. The streets are watching, the lawyers are prepping, and the internet already has screenshots of every single thing that was posted. This ain't over. Not by a long shot. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Ben 10's fake narrative call-out holds weight? And is Allstar Jr. the architect of his own downfall? Let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, and we keep breaking it down with no filter on that timing.